StudyIQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Sit down, please.
Thank you, sir.
Anupam Anand Kishore.
Yes, sir.
You are born in Maharashtra? No.
No, sir. I was born in Bihar. I currently live in Mumbai.
And at what age you and your family moved over to Maharashtra?
Sir, my father is in MES, Military Engineering Services, Defense. So it's a transferable job. So my father was earlier in Jamnagar, Gujarat, and then Maharashtra, Nagpur,
I see.
then Mumbai.
Very good. You have interest in Indian geopolitics and defense analysis.
Yes, sir.
This interest comes from where?
So partly by living in defense areas, I think, and I have a fascination with defense platforms. So I think from there.
What particular event lately has fascinated you, and what has been your analysis of that?
So recently the Aero India was conducted, and even from that, apart from that, sir, there is the recent Make in India of the defense platforms. It is very much interesting for me because new platforms are being made in India and showcased. Recently, F-35B was also showcased in India, so that was also exciting, sir.
That you find it very exciting.
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. That is one of the very good development. Will take India and India's economy far ahead. Yes.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, my next question relates to Maharashtra. Maharashtra government says that it has completed a kind of code of rules relating to how to deal with lynching and honor killings, etc. Are you aware of that?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
Are you aware that that this initiative comes from a Supreme Court ruling?
I think, sir, there was a ruling in Tehsin Poonawala's case that there should be law on lynching and hate crimes. But I'm sorry, sir, I don't know much about it.
No, that ruling was to Maharashtra?
Sir, I can't remember it. Tehsin Poonawala went to Supreme Court and got a guidelines for that.
Pakistan, now since your interest area is defense, and Pakistan always comes on the first, radar. The first country would come is Pakistan. If I say that very soon POK, Azad Kashmir, will revolt to join India, merge with India, number one. And number two, that Pakistan or major parts of Pakistan will be occupied by some faction of Taliban's. What would be your response to that?
I think, sir, it would be highly unlikely.
Highly?
Unlikely, sir.
Both?
Yes, sir, both.
Okay.
Granted that there are some protests in Pakistan, POJK, that they should accede to India, or actually state should be opened because there is no atta and gandum, which is wheat. There is nothing there, sir. There are power shortages, these kind of things. But, sir, again, sir,
these are all myths.
No, sir, they are the facts on the ground. But Pakistan has already gone for a demographic change. Earlier there were Shias living in there, and now there are majorly Sunnis living in there. So that is also changing. And plus, sir,
that change is relevant how?
The demographic change.
That demographic change is relevant to this argument how?
So Shias are not treated very well in the Pakistani mainstream circles. So, sir, they were antagonistic somewhat to Pakistani establishment, but they would favor India. But since they have already changed the demographic composition in POJK, I don't think it is very likely. Plus, the major powers of the world would not see Pakistan fail, because Pakistan is very important strategic buffer for them against a rising India. It's like kind of an hedging that USA does with every major power. For example, in China, it does with Taiwan.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Anupam?
Yes, sir.
You have a pleasing personality.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, tell me about the infrastructures for electric vehicles, CNG. what is the status as of now? Can we ban the other vehicles, petrol or diesel, and we can have this?
I'm not convinced that we are yet at that stage. We are far from it. For the CNG related issues, we have pipelines for home gas-based connectivity, and we are giving out contracts for exploration and deep minings in Kaveri, Godavari basin, and this kind of in Rajasthan also, sir. But there's not yet so much progress on that front. And for the CNG, it's okay to be used in households or CNG cars, but it doesn't have so much of load factor or power factor, power density. But regarding to the hydrogen and the EV, sir, the charging infrastructure is not there, and the technology is yet not so advanced. For example, the lithium-ion batteries, their capacity is not so much, and even if they are very costly. Plus the charging of this, if not the proprietary technology of Tesla, it would take 6 to 7 hours to fully charge it for 400 kilometers or so. So it is very far off. But again, sir, there is also the charging infrastructure is going to be made, like Ola is making in Tamil Nadu, and Uber is making in Tamil Nadu, and sir, in Pune also and Maharashtra also they are going to be making, but it's yet far off, sir.
Now, how to solve the problem of pollution then? Because it's spread by these vehicles, diesel and.
But actually, it's also a misnomer that we are still using thermal power plants to make electricity. Even if our electricity is used in EV vehicles, it's still coming from a grey source. So, sir, we need to change also that. But apart from that, yes, we are going to better age when a blended technology of ethanol is also reaching 20%. Sir, it would also be helping in cleaner fuels.
Okay, now you tell me the alternative sources of energy. How far and how much are we using it, and what is the scope in future?
Sir, India has the third largest installed capacity in non-fossil fuel areas. 42.5% of our energy resources installed capacity is non-fossil fuel. Sir, so India has been very much aggressive in renewable energies also, because it will decrease the dependence on oil and these kind of things. So, sir, first is solar. But solar's problem is efficiency and reliability. Same is the case for wind also. So there has to be some R&D. There are some R&D promising, such as in solar. We are seeing Persco White second generation, indium and selenium oxide based. So, sir, they are increasing the present efficiency to 24%. But, sir, what we require is even more, around 30-35%. So, sir, there is a promising lead in carbon nanotube whenever we are using. So, sir, it would increase the efficiency to 35% or so. So, it would be better. In case of wind energy, again, climate is changing, patterns are changing. Where today there is wind energy, tomorrow it might not be wind energy there. Sir, it also has to be factored. So, we are making offshore plants. Then, sir, small renewable hydrogen, small hydro power plants, they are also being made. They are also used as a battery. Sir, it's a holistic approach of India, sir.
Okay, sir.
Anupam,
Yes, sir.
somebody suggested Lok Sabha, because it's working very properly and all political parties are more or less represented there, we have got no need of Rajya Sabha. We should abolish it. What's your opinion?
I don't think so, sir. That would be wise. Because, sir, Rajya Sabha was created for a purpose to represent the states. Furthermore, it
That will be represented in the Lok Sabha.
yes.
All the states are represented in Lok Sabha. Why we need a Rajya Sabha?
So because Lok Sabha is meant to be fought on the national issues, but the state parties, for example, state elections are held separately. So the state issues are majorly focused in state election, Vidhan Sabha elections. So their interests are represented, their political parties, their interests are represented in Rajya Sabha. And furthermore, sir, it also acts as a check and balance to the Lok Sabha's power. For example, present government has a brute majority, so it can pass any legislation. But in Rajya Sabha, it would be stopped for doing so. And furthermore, sir, there's also one more reason that some state list or some under 249, 250 articles, they can be made legislation by the parliament also, sir. It's also very...
In the bills, while passing bills, do Rajya Sabha has got something to do with that?
Yes, sir. They
Any
have
role to play?
Yes, sir. They are the checking The bill has to be passed by both the houses, so they are check and balances for the Lok Sabha, but not so much in the case of money bills, sir.
Okay, tell me, recently there has been some development at Russia-Ukraine front. President Biden visited China, said that we strongly stand by Russia. French president asked India to mediate. And of late, United Nations General Assembly has passed a resolution.
I'm sorry, sir.
Passed a resolution asking Russia to end the war.
Yes.
This is today's morning development. Now, in view of all these developments, what is your opinion about the war? Will it continue? Will it end? Will it escalate?
So war is ending by diplomacy and compromise, sir. But neither side is willing to compromise. Russia is looking for dominating Ukraine, but it won't back down because it firmly believes that USA and the West is doing this for a regime change at the least, and at the most putting Russia in its place for forever. That Russia should never expand and never become a security threat, and they should focus all their energy towards China. But the USA, although the West is saying that we will fight to the last Ukrainian, not the last their man, but they are saying that we will fight to the last Ukrainian.
Not the NATOians.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, that's a similar case like Pakistani says that we will fight to the last Kashmiris. So, sir, somewhere Ukrainians have also to be seen that you cannot defeat Russia in totally, you cannot crush it. So the recent withdrawal from the New START treaty also signals that Russia won't be crushed completely, but it's looking forward for a resolution. For example, it said that Belarus.
Now, suppose if you are asked by the Prime Minister Modi that you go and you speak to both the parties and come to a consensus, what will be your way out? How do you think that the war can end?
Sir, India has also interest that India should never compromise on national integrity of the both
Give me
sides.
one line solution of ending the war.
So there should be talks. India is always for talks, and India should say that you should go to pre-war positions and make Donbass and those regions separate autonomous states, and Ukraine should give the assurances that it would never join NATO, sir.
And can we do it like this, that we end the war today and we discuss on these three issues? At least war ends, people are saved.
Sir, much has passed, so that also has to be taken in account that there are many civilian
Okay, thank you.
casualties.
Particle physics, you show a lot of interest as your extracurricular activity.
Yes, sir.
After the research, after finding God's particle in 2012, what is the current status?
Sir, Higgs boson was found in 2012-13, and we have seen that it is accounting for the gravity, the basic particle for the gravity, but it is not yet integrated in a unified field theory. The standard model is yet very applicant and very much prevalent. There is a string theory and superstring theory which also predicts things, but there are some problems. With string theory, there are three problems. Mainly, firstly, it talks about tachyon, which is time traveling particles, sir. It should not be there. And again, sir, there is also a case that there should be 26 dimensions, then only string theory could be applicable. So for this, superstring theory has been propagated.
How string theory is different from quantum physics?
So quantum physics thinks of anything, also small particles, as a particle. They have a wave function, but they are particle. But in string theory, everything is made of a vibrating string. So sir, whenever we calculate any quantum probabilistic mechanism of any particle, so sir, we add everything probabilistic of a point, like an electron is going from one place to another. It might eject a photon and it might absorb it, it might interact with other things, and then the probability is concluded. But in string theory,
Okay, go ahead.
so in string theory, what happens, sir, is there is a vibrating rod, so it acts as the surface of whole. It doesn't act as a point particle. So sir, we have to create even complex symmetries and then add them.
So quantum mechanics and string theory finally replaced Einstein's theory of relativity?
No, sir, it didn't.
How do you reconcile all these different theories in physics?
So that is the main problem of unifying the gravity with quantum physics.
Mm-hmm.
The quantum gravity has not yet been unified. In the standard model, which is very much prevalent and everybody uses it, for very precise calculations.
Okay, last question. How to improve Bihar administration from Maharashtra administration?
Sir, Maharashtra is very much urbanized area. Bihar is still a very rural area. Only 12% is urbanized. I think, sir, it creates problems of its own. There is a feudal mentality of the people, which also has to change. Social awareness has to be brought in administration side. It would be very much better if transparency, accountability, and grievance redressal mechanisms are totally supported by the government. Presently, also we see that there is very much centralization because resources are very much less in Bihar. So, sir, there should be decentralization of administration also. For example, community-led education and health model should be made more prevalent. If government hospitals are not working so well, so there is a problem in the mentality of people also. But there should be community efforts that we should look up after our community, prevent the diseases before it escalates into tertiary issues.
So,
Your father is working in army, right?
Yes, sir, military engineering services.
Okay. Recently, one rank, one pension has been implemented. Can you explain it?
Sir, it entails that everybody retiring from the same post should get a similar pension, sir. Earlier it wasn't the case.
So why is it that the demand was only for the armed forces and not for the civilians? I mean, civilian jobs.
Sir, the nature of army jobs is very much difficult. Harsh terrains, harsh priorities, and loss of life. These are only present in army, armed forces, sir. That's why it was told to.
Aren't you missing something?
I'm sorry, sir, I cannot.
Should we extend OROP to civil services?
No, sir, but CRPF and paramilitaries, we should extend them. The same.
You have presented some paper on fractal. What is this?
The fractals are those figures which have fractional dimensions. For example, 1.5D, 1.2D. So they are abstract and mathematical in nature. For example, plane is 2D and there is 3D. So they are in between. So, sir, they are very complex.
Are they real or hypothetical?
So they are hypothetical, but they are present in the nature, and we can explain them by very simple mathematical calculation. Like,
Do they have any utility in administration?
so not exactly from the fractals per se, but fractals help us understand that nature, while very being simple, can create very complex things. Like my other hobby is particle physics. That's why I studied fractals also, sir, because it tells me that everything is arising from a very small particle, every point particle, but it can create so much diversity and complexity. That's how fractals are also made.
Can you think of any application of this knowledge for administration?
In administration, not so much, but generating complex diagrams or computer animations, they are used in fractals, or measuring some kind of coastline, it can be used.
Okay. You are a mechanical engineer, right?
Yes, sir.
So there are few engines which are of 1 liter, few are 1.5 liter, few are 2 liter. What does this liter signifies?
So I don't know much about it, but it might be the capacity of the storage. I don't
Which
know.
storage? Is it the capacity of fuel storage tank?
Not, sir, not the fuel storage tank,
Then
but I think what amount it processes in one go. I'm not sure, sir.
okay, read about it.
Okay.
There are some 2-stroke engine and 4-stroke engine. What is this?
The two-stroke engines completes a whole revolution and whole power cycle in 2 strokes, and 4-stroke completes it in 4. In 2 strokes, sir, the crank rotates only twice, and the whole combustion and exhaustion. There are 4 stages, sir. Inlet, then combustion, compression, combustion, and then exhaustion. This all happens in 2 stages in 2-stroke engine, but in 4-stroke engine they have separate stages.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Anupam. We meet you after a few minutes.
Okay, sir.
And please wait outside.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
First of all, the board feels that you are a very confident candidate, very good, very well informed. You have very good content, you articulate and deliver your answers very well. So these are super qualities. I wonder why you had to take 3 chances to reach here. I am congratulating you. whether it is you didn't take it seriously or seriously, because you are a confident candidate. Okay? You articulate well, as I said. Only one piece of advice which we feel runs for various reasons, you have to remember this. You know, opening sentence to most of the answers was a very strong stand taking. You have a very strong stand taking opening of the answers. You should not it appears that you are closing other options. I'll give you examples. You said somewhere the opening sentence was, it's a misnomer to something. In another answer, you said none of these possibilities. To another answer, you said, I don't think so. Personality test means it's total gauging of your personality, your attitude, your aptitude, and how you communicate. So the interview is a soft skill exercise. There is very little that they are looking for any factual and data information. If you have, happily include it. If you are sure, more happily include that. But it's more important how you engage. You are engaging in most of your answers, you are engaging very well. But as I said, the beginning is a little stronger. Now, give you other side of the example. When my friend asked you that Ukraine and Russia, he agreeing to stop the war, is it not an option? So you said you said no, because they have gone too far into it. IFS is your second choice. So IFS is the game of diplomacy. If our friend can send Modi to strike a deal, so it's a possibility. But then, it may appear why Modi? Why would they accept? Or whatever. Second thing important is that this your interest in defense studies and analysis and things like this is a very, very unique kind of extracurricular interest that you are pursuing. Very few people would have this kind of thing. They'll talk of music and playing and singing and reading. Now this is a hardcore intellectual exercise. So you can expect that there would be large number of questions on this. So there, if you get stuck by taking one stand harshly, so then it agitates against the very theme of intellectualism, isn't it? So this feedback, my feedback is a little critical, but the idea is not to sort of convert you into, from this side to that side. Idea is to sort of put you on guard, that recognize the possibilities and your field of, these interests and IFS and all that. But you are a super candidate, I can assure you that. The entire board feels that you are one of the top candidates. You will score very well. All the very best. Okay? Thank you.
StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।